Criminal charges against Trump. That is what a Haitian nonprofit is seeking. They've had enough. Had enough of you, Donald. Good reason. Haitian nonprofit seeking criminal charges to be filed against former President Donald Trump and that spineless running mate who has very few conversations with Trump, apparently, Senator JD Vance, the Republican emerging out of Ohio. Tuesday, this thing was sought, alleging that in pushing false claims that the immigrant community in Springfield, Ohio was a threat to public safety, the pair had caused widespread fear and disruption. Who could argue with that? Now, in recent weeks, despite denials from the city and state officials themselves, governor too, Trump and Vance amplified the bizarre, controversial rumor that Haitian immigrants were eating people's pets in a bid to attack Vice President Kamala Harris's immigration record. In the time since, the city has been subjected to dozens of bomb threats and become the epicenter of national debate on immigration. Charges submitted by the Haitian Bridge Alliance seek to hold both men on the Republican ticket accountable for the town's turmoil. Mediaite with the reporting here. Now, the group's lead counsel, Subodh Chandra, telling Fox 8, we want the judge to issue arrest warrants for Trump and Vance immediately. There is probable cause. Haitian community suffering in fear because of Trump and Vance's relentless, irresponsible, false alarms and public services have been disrupted. Trump and Vance must be held accountable to the rule of law. Anyone else who wreaked havoc the way they did would have been arrested by now.
With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show.
Now, the charges argue that the two politicians repeatedly made inflammatory statements about Haitian immigrants during rallies and interviews, falsely portraying them as a threat to public safety. According to Chandra, Trump and Vance's rhetoric not only alarmed residents, but also resulted in massive disruptions to local public services. Formal charges filed include disrupting public service, making false alarms, telecommunications harassment, and aggravated menacing. One accusation involves Trump's vow to deport immigrants, even though they're legally residing in the U.S., to Venezuela, a country many have never known. The nonprofit alleges these statements were made with the intent to abuse, threaten, or harass the community. Give you the response from the Trump campaign. Responding to the legal action, Trump campaign spokesperson Stephen Chang said in a statement, President Trump is rightfully highlighting the failed immigration system. President Trump will secure our border and put an end to the chaos that illegal immigration brings. Springfield's municipal court still to decide whether the charges will be pursued. Ooh, okay. So you would think someone who is reluctant to spend time in court, who fell asleep and, according to media reports, admitted flatulence, he farted in court, he does not like to be there, would perhaps back off with the threat of more charges. But that's not necessarily the case on the campaign trail. Watch.
Well, this woman has allowed record numbers of people into our country. They're from all over the world. They're now creating criminal havoc throughout the country. Aurora, Colorado, you saw that, where Venezuelan gangs are taking over real estate. They become real estate developers. How nice. Because they're going to take over a lot more than Aurora. They're going to go through Colorado, take over the whole damn state by the time they finish. Unless I become president, they won't last long. In Springfield, Ohio, so you have a town of 50,000 people. They have 32,000 migrants put into the town almost overnight. And the people are so nice. You know, they want to be nice. They say, well, the mayor is actually looking for interpreters. He's looking all over for interpreters because they can't understand. The language is totally different. What the hell? I'm sorry. You have to move the people back to the country from which they came.
The one thing the president said that resonated with me was the need for interpreter. We need an interpreter to figure out what this deranged man is saying from the podium. It looked like the prompter. You saw the two things on the side there. It was a teleprompter. Did someone write this for him? No, he's deranged. He's going off script and doing things that are just impossible to decipher. What do you make of this lawsuit? It's creative, the pressing of these criminal charges. And what do you think is going to happen? Because even though Governor DeWine, the mayor, and others have spoken out against this hate speech, do you really think they're going to prosecute Vance and Trump?
Yeah, it seems unlikely that the sitting senator and the former president would get prosecuted under this law, this court action by this group. But I'm not mad at them for filing. These guys have comported themselves in what I would say is at least to the line of criminal behavior in terms of going out and spewing this hateful rhetoric about this immigrant community out there in Ohio. But of course, it's of a piece, right? It's what Trump and Vance have decided the campaign is going to be all about. Just the very notion of an immigrant being a bad one, just immigrants bad. That's their whole plan. That's their whole message. Never mind that this does not actually comport with how most Americans see the issue. I think most people are like, look, we should have an orderly, system by which people can apply and come and follow the laws and et cetera, et cetera. Everybody agrees that should happen. But most Americans do not think that every immigrant who comes here is somehow a suck on our country and is not contributing in incredible ways and making this, the best country in the world, right? That I don't think he's in lockstep with most Americans. Now, his most ardent fanboys and girls, yeah, they love it. And we know that's about 35% of the electorate, but I think everybody else is kind of just like, pretty moderate on the question of immigration. Would like to just see us get a handle on it and do it in a more orderly fashion.
The people who came from Haiti and yes, there's a housing issue there. There's a housing issue in a lot of American cities. So come on.
Yeah, there's no Haitians here in LA, unfortunately. And we have a major housing issue.
Okay. Thank you. So I understand that. But the people who came from Haiti to Springfield, Ohio, who are legally there, are helping that community. They are getting rave reviews. And I don't even want to stereotype here, but they're getting rave reviews for the work and the things and the way they're supporting and lifting up this community. That's white people in the community said this. The mayor, the governor. Okay. Now, I don't believe for a second that the same governor who is still supporting this ticket, I think he's going to call and say, we're not going to pursue these charges. Don't do it. But I do think there's a civil suit here. Remember Ruby Freeman? You made her life a living hell, Giuliani. You had that stuff dripping down your temples. Why did no one tell him? Is that not the height of hatred towards your fellow conspirator? Nobody tapped and said, Rudy, you have stuff dripping down. It's embarrassing. Ruby Freeman, record judgment. They're going to take him for what he's got. I think it's class action. Schools closing, bomb threats, people living in fear, people suffering trauma because of these two clowns. Somebody should pay for that. Should the city just foot the bill to the people who perhaps can't go to work and be free, the kids who have to be homeschooled? It's sick. But then consider the source.
So
go ahead, Wos. I'll give you the last
I just want
word.
to say one last thing about this, because I think it's important that, I'm sure there are people legitimately in Springfield, Ohio, and other places with migrants coming in an influx, and it's really quick and it's really fast. I'm sure there is some level of culture shock. There is some level of uncomfortability. Cool. I grant that. And I don't think that we should just sort of brush that to the side, like how people feel when these things happen. Right. But what I will say is one, everybody takes pride in America being the melting pot, the place of immigrants. And two, we've done this every single time before. We did it when it was the Germans coming in here for the first time. Panic. We did it with the Irish, the Italians, the Greeks, the Jews, the Japanese, who we interned, the Chinese. Like, we keep doing this. We do this all the time, guys. And then what ends up happening is these people eventually become Americans and they love the country and they contribute to what we're doing over here. And this is no different than what's going on right now.
Yeah, I concur. And dear leader says he's going to deport 20 million. I forget how many American citizens he said. Get out here. What, can we start with him?